Good morning in there, out there, from in here, out here. And do you know who stole that the other night? Stephen Colbert. He started his monologue off with that. Well, welcome to Sentimentalist. Hi, Mark. Vivi's nose. Vivi's over there. She's over there, not there. Here today. Yeah. I keep hearing from more people who are out there, and the pressure's on. There go the thundering herd. The idea, of course, is just to. I can't imagine what. I guess I want to go out and say, now, why are you watching this? Why? But it's nice to be with you, and I love picturing who's out there because now I know some of the people who want to come visit. Oh boy, do I have nothing to say. Oh, that's the point. Slurpy derp. Well, as Julie's mother had this wonderful saying over her fireplace, everywhere they lived it would be carved, "You can't be both grand and comfortable." Isn't that wonderful? I love it. You can't be both grand and comfortable. You know, there's a study that shows that people, oh man, look at that house there. Well, I bring it up because just through the little woods behind our place, they're building homes that are going to sell for a couple million. And what I've learned, bang, bang, bang. What I've learned is that after a certain amount, I think it's something like $100,000 or something like that, you can't accumulate anything more that'll make you feel any better than you are at that level. That's good to know, I think. But it's hard in a little academe here, little purpose-driven culture that we live in. Yeah, what's the point? You know, didn't we all grow up with that? How are you going to do this? It was all, had to have the point and the purpose. And of course, the point and the purpose of this is to try to shed ourselves at that. And not be grand, but be comfortable. Like a cup of coffee. Sure. One of my heroes is The Walking Man. Do you know about The Walking Man? Not the James Taylor song. That's a good one, though. But there's this guy who walks New York City every day. And he doesn't want to have money. I think he lives in a homeless place. And he gets up in the morning and he walks New York City. And if you would say to him, what a waste of time, there's no purpose to this, he just looks at you like you're a fool because he's just so rich with experiences. He talks about if he walks the same route, it's not the same. It's just a wonderful, wonderful thing. He says, what if you come to, a certain age and all of a sudden you missed it? Because you had a purpose and a direction and a point and all that existential stuff, that you try to find meaning and everything. And he walks around New York, the walking man. Oh, the walking man. Why can't we get to that place? We could just sit all day and look at Vivi over there and go, I can't, it's impossible to understand. To live in, Iceland believes in elves. and wherever the elves live, they'll build roads around them. It's so, you're in the world. This is all here, you know. But somehow something happens that makes what's really a big deal not a big deal. So here's what you have to do. You have to sign up for my class at Oxbow, June 17th, 10 till 5. And the name of the class is Here's What Matters. And I've got some tricks up my sleeve to put you in touch with what really matters and have it be a surprise for you. The wonderful landscape workshop people that I get to be with every month, we Zoomed. We had Santa Fe, Traverse City, around here, dear Mariana Maver from Mary Free Bed Hospital, talking with us, lying on her bed. One new member, Marianne Sunquist from Santa Fe. And Robbie from the Berkshires. It's just wonderful how we come together and we just recognize what really matters. And we sort of sadly realize that some of these are the only times that I know at the college, boy, the pressure is on the students all the time. Find God's will, find your direction, what's your calling, what's this? You know what I want to do? I'm going to have a cup of coffee. Yeah. I want you to have a cup of coffee. Our Christmas tree's still up. Does that matter? Let's see what else is in the book. I could make a whole list of people who are hurting right now, and I just trust that you know we're thinking of you and caring about you. And we know that that doesn't take one trickle of the pain away, but we hope it's a little bit comforting. Julie's working at the spinning wheel right now. It's a good metaphor, because the wheel just goes round and round and round like the old Joni Mitchell song, you know, round and round. But look what comes out. This vest. This came out of that wheel, going round and round, and then Julie's wonderful hands knitting it. This vest. Yep. So, we had a wonderful time last night, just talking about what Billy Collins said the other day, and maybe it was the other year. But somebody said, is poetry alive in America or is it dead in America? And he said, well, there's a lot of poets out there. Boy, there are a lot of poets. Now, I don't know if there have ever been this many poets. They're writing in a void. It's okay. It's okay. Just why be afraid of wasting time when that's when things are enriching? Yeah. When our daughter was little, I think I've said this, she had stare time. It could be at any time, but we noticed that she was staring. And we know some who worry about, get back here, what are you doing? Don't be doing that. And just let her go. She's been staring ever since. Hey, did you know there's a couple kinds of thinking? Temple Grandin has a new book out. You know, she's the person on the autism spectrum who's amazing with horses and all these visual things. And they're now, I don't want to use the word claiming because it seems accurate, that there are three kinds of thinking. One is verbal, and that's very linear, and you understand things because they're in language and you read it. Or if you ask directions, somebody tells you how to get somewhere and you hear it. And you hear rather than see. If they said, did you see? You say, well, I don't remember I did, but if you hear it, you remember it. The other kind of thinker is a visual thinker. That's this guy. And it's a little harder to be a visual, I don't know, I mean, not to become one, but being a visual thinker is a little harder because everything in your, just about, in your mind, even though I'm using words, they're coming out of pictures. Boy, it was startling to realize that's the truth. And I remember being in college, well, I remember being in college, but taking a test, and the way I did well, in a way, on the test was I could picture my notes. So I always was able to assemble an interesting essay on the test. But I couldn't remember the facts. And I think I've said this before, the college that I went to has a 3x5 card on their grads in the English department, and mine read, "We've had no finer writer, and he is by far the worst objective test taker we've ever seen." And that's really an interesting thing, you know. I could picture where Emily Dickinson lived, but I'm liable to say Topeka. Yeah. Well, let's see what else we have. How about this weather? Somebody said it's the weather in Michigan, and it's Michigan weather. Michigan weather, you don't have snow this time of year, and we have a little bit of rain. Not much. I mean, it's just spitting. There's a little bit of snow, no snow, rain. It's cloudy, but not white clouds. This is gray time. Everything is gray. Yep. We're living in the gray. So I hope you're doing okay. Man, you just really, not fond of the gray. And it's why when you go south, where it's not gray. You know, we lost Charles Simic this week. One of the persons who will last probably as an American poet who never learned to speak English until he was 15. 15. Survived 2 kinds of terrible wars, escaped, came to the United States, his family did. He worked nights, dropped out of school, started University of Chicago by taking 1 class at a time, ended up with a Pulitzer Prize, created, I guess it would be a unique poem. There aren't many. Invented it. He may not have even known it when he started, and then he just kept going. He had such a remarkable way of placing the realistic and the unrealistic together, and yet they made they brought a new kind of sense to you. Nice example is when he was with us visiting, he said, and I'm sorry to do this, but it's so much more fun, and I feel like I'm with Charles when I do this, but he said, when they asked me to write my autobiography, I was very deep, my autobiography, and I started to write, and it was very boring. It was all facts and names of people and things like that. And so instead of saying we were so poor that my dad had to blah, 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 my mom had to blah, 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 and we ate, blah, blah, I said just this: we were so poor, I had to be the bait in the mousetrap. And you have to think about that. Which evokes what it was really like for him, the facts or the imagination? Julie's at her other spinning wheel now. They're spinning, spinning, spinning. Well, I think that's a lot on a gray day. But I do hope we keep working at the inane, the sentimental. Oh, one comment on the sentimental. I got a kick out of yesterday reading a couple critics, because they won't use the word sentimental, but they use these words: poignant, touching, and tender. Oh my, let's make those words negatives, huh? But we don't want to say sentimental. Here's our poem for today, and thanks for being here. I wish you could see Vivi right now. It's on a rainy, gray day. She's just all curled up. She pulled her head in underneath some pillows. And now that, see? There it is. Not the name. This poem starts out with a title called One Night Can Change a Life. And I put together this little collection, and it'll probably stay on my desk. One night can change a life. Our child walks into her 35th birthday, and we keep doing the crossword, sighing, watching the sparrows at the feeder, hoping the cat comes back before we go to bed. We buy begonias to fill in the bare spots and shine under the porch light. At night, we try to find something to say, something to remember, enjoy another evening, walk under the mute streetlights. Before bed, we fill the coffee maker, cut the rind from the melon for morning. There's solace everywhere. If we turn around, take a look, stay. And there's always the old song, the dust, the long-forgotten book. Imagine again, the star is gone before the light comes. But one night can change a life. Maybe it's sitting on my grandmother's daybed, reading by the old dog who has always lain beside us, feeling that shaggy head on our knee. Take care. Try to be cheerful. Do be kind.